Welcome to today's live conversation with Sarah Tinks Cross, and I'm really looking forward to this. Welcome, Sarah.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a long overdue conversation. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and we finally got there. So thank you for your patience. And we have got such a lot to talk about today. But for anybody that doesn't know anything about your fabulous personal styling work, how do you kind of introduce yourself and tell us about the work that you do?
Well, I am a personal stylist and I'm also a seamstress. So that's my trade, and I have been for over 30 years. And so, because I can alter and sew clothes, I attract clients who off the peg clothes don't always fit them, or they like a specific style, like a lower neckline, or need things taking up because they're shorter in the body or height, etc. And so that's what I do. And I start in people's wardrobes and I work out their top 10, 15%, and I work with that and I make outfits. Do a lot of outfit building and variables because just a garment on its own is actually more confusing than an outfit. And so over time, I've developed my process where I help people make outfits that align to their current lifestyle. Because some things which go wrong is we have clothes that we love, which may have served us in the past, but not for our current lifestyle. And then it's what do we do with those? And we don't have to take them out of our lives. We just need to take them out of our go-to daily wardrobe so that we don't get in a muddle and get confused.
What I love about you is the fact that some people are daunted by the idea of having a personal stylist that comes into your wardrobe and says, right, you've got to get rid of all that and spend a load of money. But you work with what people have got in their wardrobes, and the
Mhm.
fact that you can sew and you can help people change perhaps the shape of it or how they wear it, it's so much more practical and makes so much more sense to me.
And I teach people my process. So it's not my process that I keep to myself because just there's only a very, very limited amount of people that I can help. It's just me going to them or me, altering their clothes. And so I do lots of online teaching and courses so I can literally teach people how to do regular alterations, how to look for clothes, where to buy clothes to fit to do the easiest alteration to make them perfect because sometimes that's not obvious. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier for trousers, for example, if you can get the fit around the thighs and bum, but the waist is too tight or too loose. That's an easier alteration to do. Even making a waist bigger on trousers or skirt is much easier to do than fitting the waist and then trying to take in all around the bum and thighs and that area. So there's certain things which you can sort of, once you know your body shape and what your regular issues are with off the peg clothes, it can become much easier than what you think.
Yeah, I definitely need to go on one of your online courses. I'm not going to lie, my dad ran off with my sewing teacher when I was about 15. So I vowed that I would never do sewing ever again. But now that I'm in my 50s, I really wish I could sew. So I need to do one of your classes. And not only that, you are also very humbly not telling us all about how fantastic you are as an author. You are a Amazon best-selling author as well, aren't you?
So my book that I've just got here, that literally is my process that I do with people. And as you'll know, Rachel, because you feature in the first chapter, which is called You Laid Bare, because you need to accept yourself before you can dress yourself the best you can, or else you'll just be in this kind of this rat race of going, I'm going to do something with my body before I let myself dress myself how I want. And then you get into a spiral of maybe years of not dressing how you want because you're not at one with the body how it is at the moment. And of course, we can't always control how our body is. Nobody is 100% happy with their body. And if they
Absolutely.
are, they've done a lot of work to get to that point that they accept their body. So I know it's easier, just to say that than what it really is, which is why the first chapter, I've got people like yourself and some other different types of people who are, therapists, which you can all look up on there, and just to talk through how to look at your body to be able to dress it. So even if you don't like your body, you can still have that second chance, second skin to dress, your body, to hide what you don't like about it, or just, people don't know what you don't like about your body. It's
Exactly.
only.
Yeah, which is actually kind of what led us both onto this conversation of
Mm.
having today's conversation about around summer. It's been the amount of conversations, Sarah, I've had with women over the summer holiday saying that this time of year they absolutely dread it because they've got to go to the beach, they've got to wear swimwear, and they don't know where to look in the shops. They don't find anything that makes them feel good when they get to the beach. And I want to be able to have that conversation and have some tips for women that give some practical advice on the right kind of swimwear that they where to look for it, what kind of swimwear is best for what shapes. So I knew that you would be the right person to have this conversation. So I suppose where do we start? I suppose that the best place to start would be to talk about body shapes of the right swimwear to match the body shapes, do you think?
Absolutely. So this is something which most people understand when they start to sort of look for a specific outfit or dress for a specific occasion, like on the beach included, they think, okay, what's going to be best for my body shape? So I'm just going to literally burst the bubble there and say it doesn't really translate over to swimwear because we're just going from shoulder to crotch, and what you're going to be wearing is going to be skin tight. Whereas when we talk about matching a style to a body shape for our day-to-day dressing, we're going from shoulder all the way down to ankle, and we've got a choice of fabrics that can swish away from the body or be a bit looser, or it can be structured to make a shape. Whereas swimwear, we don't have that. So I think the first thing is to not worry about what your body shape is, and then we need to go to the next levels of other levels of personal style, which is the structure of how swimwear is made, because the structure can then make your shape look a bit better than just squashing it in a stretchy tube. And then colours and lots of little tips of, what coverage can be done and what can be on show and what we can do to disguise that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I suppose it's like making sure you've got the right lingerie on, isn't it? It's that getting those foundations right that then makes everything else and makes you feel so much better.
Yeah. So the five areas, and this one actually is regardless of what swimwear you have. The very, very first top tip that I can give to anybody is posture. Because what we do, we're showing more flesh than what we probably want to anyway. And so what we start doing is we start stooping, we start making ourselves look smaller. We bring our arms forward to try and maybe hide, cleavage or bust or belly or whatever. And then what we're doing, we're actually covering up that small amount of clothing that we actually have on. So you actually then look nude at a glance. So it gives people that opportunity to go, oh, I'm going to look twice and what's going on there. Are they okay if you're not, well, do
Yeah.
you need a hand to walk? Do you need a chair? Because you're stooping, you're creeping. So the first thing is you're in, if you're going to be in swimwear, you're in a situation where people are expecting you to be in swimwear. You're by a swimming pool, you're by a beach, you're on holiday, it's hot. So they're expecting you to be in swimwear for starters. So just take deep breaths and just hold yourself well. And just by holding yourself well, you will actually form such a nicer shape because your shoulders are back, your back will look better, people don't always like the size of the breasts, whether they're too small or too big. They're not, you don't like what you're given. But to the onlooker, you're going to look much nicer just holding yourself. Your waist will look better, even if you feel larger around the belly, just that little bit of lift. And you will actually then will be engaging muscles and you will be pulling yourself in. So you're never going to look worse if you just focus on posture, and then people won't be looking.
Yeah.
And then body shape, we've already talked about. We're just going from shoulder to crotch. And then the structure of the swimwear. And I'd like to show you some samples of what I mean by structure. So it's a little bit like when you're buying underwear. If you wear an underwired bra, because that's what's comfortable and that's what gives you the support that you need, buy underwired swimwear and beachwear. I've got some examples here. So here's one. So this is underwired, so it keeps the complete shape.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't wear underwired, what is quite good, they have this bit of boning here just at the side. So even if it's not underwired, that's something to look for. So it keeps the depth, and you can get that just in the top bit of swimsuits as well. It's not just bikinis. And if we look here, there's a little bit of gathering under here. So you've got the fullness for the bust. If I turn it inside out, you can see the seams are here as well. You can see all the seams from how, all the wiring's in. This particular one, we've got different areas. So that actually is a net. When that's on, that looks dark.
Yeah,
That's a mesh. And so you can have quite a large area of coverage. And it not look like this massive, big, huge bikini because this one's very clever because they've used the colour, and colour is the next thing that I'll be going on to, and the width of the straps. And here you've got two different colours. So at a glance, it might just look like a smaller area of black, but then you've got some pattern. So, and then of course pattern and texture. You can't then see lumps and bumps, and so pattern and texture is really, really good.
the width of going back to that width of the straps, I find that I've worn lots of different swimwear when I've been modelling. Swimwear straps that are too thin, and it doesn't matter what shape body you are. If they're too thin, they just instantly cut into your skin, don't they? So I do really like that wider strap.
Yeah. They cut in, they disappear, and then it looks like, it's everyone has got that bit of coverage on them. And,
Mm.
if you're just going to go for something like this, you're not going to get any support. And this actually is just two flat triangles that, two flat pieces of fabric are not going to give you any shape.
Yeah.
And also with width, what to look for is drawstring. So here,
Oh, I
when you
like that.
drawstring on the sides, it means that if you want a bit more coverage because you may be sort of seated and you feel everything is going south and you want to tuck everything in a bit, you can. If you're, sort of swimming, feeling a bit more confident. And also what you can do with when you have the drawstring, you get a bit of ruching. So again, if you don't have that flat, smooth tightness around you, but a bit of ruching, then that can disguise things. Having said that, there are a lot of swimwear brands where you get excess ruching at the front and completely plain at the back, and then some kind of sort of frills and flounce, thinking it's covering things up. It just adds volume.
Yes.
So you need to, when you have a drawstring which is at a side or somewhere definite on a front or back, you've got that even ruching, not just a whole of ruche and then a seam with it completely flat.
I found as well with some of the ruching ones, if they've got a lining and then they've got the ruching over the top, the minute you go in the water, it just fills up with water and it doesn't support you anyway, and it just kind of you end up floating with it.
Absolutely. You then, so another thing which is different to ruching is when you can just have some extra little detail which is separate, which you can move around and just position over areas, sort of like, sort of stomachs, etc. That's quite a good tip. If you can go for the thicker strap and coverage, you can go quite low. And then this one, for example, has got quite a high back. So you can go quite low and it's very quite narrow. And so when they're constructed, what you'll see, there's a lot of shaping here. It has a cup that's stitched in, so it
Yes.
can't move and it stays very, very flat. And the way this is constructed is this, where it's low at the front, is tighter than the fullness of the bust. So it actually cups the bust from side to side. So it's not going, you don't want anything gaping at the front or anything that's flat. So it's just a squash and a V, because then you'll fall out. It needs to be close to the body, in between the breasts. So it's
Yeah.
nothing's going to fall out.
Yeah.
And it's very, very flattering, particularly if you can go for a halter neck or even like a racer back. So it pulls in here very low at the front. You've got a real elongated shape that's very flattering. So that's a really good one to go for. Or you can go for higher up at the front. Now, sometimes halter neck can be a bit pulling on the back of
I
the neck.
find that because I'm bigger busted, that I find that the weight of my top part with a halter neck can really hurt my neck sometimes if it's not the right support.
So what you can do for that is a crossover back.
Yeah.
So it's still, you're not going to have straps falling down. A crossover really does make sure that it looks like, because if you've got some wiring and you're using a shape very, very similar, like a balcony shape, which you might wear as a bra, when you have a cross back, it kind of takes it away that it's not underwear, that you're wearing a swimwear.
Yes.
That sort of, then you can have something quite fancy on the strap. So again, if you go for thicker straps, there can be some fancier details. I've got one here where the straps, and so you
Yeah.
just know, and that's a crossback, you know that's not going to be underwear, but and that's where the detail is on the straps, and that's where people are looking, not
Yeah.
anywhere else. But this is a halter neck, but this is where it's a full swimsuit, it does stick to the body. And again, it's got the cups which don't come out. So they are secure and they're quite thin. They're not cups to give you. So that's something else to look for. The cups here are just that little bit of complete rounded shape, so you're not
Yeah.
going to fall out and be squashed flat, but they're not giving you extra bulk. So you can get push-ups or ones with padding in to make you look bigger. These aren't to make you look bigger. These are just a sort of, to sort of hold you in shape so you feel secure like you would with a bra. And so when this fits so well to the whole body, you then don't have a lot of the weight around, particularly because this will go right up to here. It's not a strap from here and here, which is holding the whole
Yeah.
weight of the bust just from here. So when it's filled in, you don't, and then you can go for quite a low back when you've got all that coverage at the front. And then from the side, you look, half the width you would because it's so low at the back.
Yeah.
So you can either go lower at the front and have higher at the back, or you can have your halter higher at the front. This has got some cutouts, so it still
Yeah. I
looks
like that
very
neckline.
flattering, and lower at the back.
Yeah.
And as we are at the back, I want to show you this has got a seam down the back. So if you can find swimwear that has got a seam down the back, that also allows for some more shaping in what's going around the posterior rather than just a flat shape that's then being stretched round. And if we look here, we've got seams. This is just above the leg.
Yeah.
We've got seams that you would expect to shape for the bust, not a flat shape. So
Yeah.
you're looking for quite a lot of construction in within, like you would underwear. If you look at a bra, there's lots of construction in it. So you're looking for that so that you can get the support in swimwear and in bikinis and one pieces.
I guess that's why, Sarah, it's worth investing because then obviously you can go to supermarkets, you can buy swimwear, very cheaply. But the idea is to invest in the most kind of what you can afford to make sure it's as good as possible because that's when you do get the structure and the seaming and isn't it?
Absolutely. So that is price point. I have to be completely honest that you really are looking at from like £45 up for a bikini top, £30 up for the bottoms, £80 up for a swimsuit. And what you will get for that is you will get lined, you'll get secure cups, you will get the seamed, you will get the shaping. And that's the lowest price point.
Yeah.
So we are coming to the end of the summer. Now is a really good time to look in the sales because you might still be paying that on a sale item.
Mm.
And I think we're in this false economy that we can get things for, 19.99 because that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get any, and also it's that one layer. You think it's two layers because it feels different on the back, but it is just the same. It's just turned over. You don't have the proper elastic in the edge, um, which can cope with chlorine water, salt water.
Mm.
So there's a lot of elements that go in around the edge of the swimwear because, like we said before, we're relying completely on this tiny bit of fabric just going from shoulder to crotch, which is clinging the body. And so it goes through quite a lot of wear, particularly if it's going to be exposed to bright sunshine, chlorine swimming pools, sand, salty water several times a day if you're in and out of the pool, in and
Yeah,
out of the sun. And then you've got sun cream, and so you've got oils from your skin, which are then seeping into the fabric as well.
yeah.
So when you think of everything that the swimwear, and it's being pulled tight, it's clinging to you, if you buy cheap, it's not going to last. And I absolutely promise you that if you just forget price tag and just literally go, oh my gosh, yes, I've just spent a small mortgage, that will last you forever, give you the confidence, and you would have chosen well. You'd have ensured that it fits you if you're going to part with, more than what you expect.
I mean, before we went live, Sarah and I were just talking about how much swimwear we've collected over the years, and we've both got swimwear that we've had for years and years
Yes.
that are
Yeah.
still going strong, and that's because we have invested in the best that we could get.
I know, absolutely have. And so then if we want to then go beyond shape from just your swimwear, think about how you do any outfits. I mentioned outfits earlier. A garment is more confusing than a whole outfit. So you are only just in your bikini or swimsuit if you are about to enter water, or if you want to be exposing to sun or sunbathing, then you're comfortable, you want to do that. If you're moving around in an area which is a holiday area, but you're not actually swimming, then we go on to cover-ups. Now, I feel it's very important that you have a cover-up that opens at the front.
Yes.
When I've got the light shining through, you can see it looks like it's see-through,
I love
but
that colour as well.
yeah,
Beautiful.
it's a three-quarter length sleeve. But look at this, look at the shaping in the sleeve. So you can use
Yeah.
this for shaping. When you have it, it's also got this where it just pulls in a bit. So you've got all this at the back. So you know it's going to fit nice by the waist and then have some shape. It's very floaty. So
Yeah.
as you move or you get wind, you've then making this silhouette, and it's just fitted from the shoulders. And with the button up, it means that you can just choose whether you just have it closed here, closed a bit lower down, if you've got specific areas you want to cover, and then just let it waft around or have it open completely. And if you do, let it hang outside of your boobs. People think they want to cover up and then they're making then a barrel, a rectangular, shape.
Yes.
Whereas if you can just hang this side, you can still then just sort of do it up a bit lower down, maybe just by the crutch, so it just opens here. And if you don't want it all floating, you don't have to go for bright color. I have one here, and actually, and if I this is nothing to do with beachwear, by the way. This is just a French Connection dress, which was sold completely buttoned up with the same color slip underneath, and I've always worn it as beachwear.
Love that.
So but there are, if it buttons all the way through and it's floaty, you can wear it anyway. It hasn't got
Yeah.
to have the beachwear label in it. This one has got a beachwear label in it, but it's and again, so this is just a very thin linen. And again, it's just like a classic shirt tail shape, which is longer with the option of holding, So if you're classic, then, and you're thinking, oh, I just don't want to do all this beachy stuff. It's all so alien to me, patterns, brights, then just go classic. So that nautical. So this is a really good, this is a John Lewis. And again, it's got the ties at the side, so you can
Yeah.
have and then you just go for your hat, which I'm not good with hats to get too hot. So this is great. So I can still keep my hair up. And so I haven't got then flat hat head, which I don't want if I'm too hot, but
Yeah.
completely. And just this is then classic. You have a beach bag in this raffeteur. So nautical colours, if you don't want to attract attention to yourself and you are a classic or a natural. So again, you're thinking of what you wear in the day. And then staying on the colour theme, I've shown you quite a few brights here because it's safer to go bright. You have this idea that everyone's then going to see you and you're trying to make yourself not so um, conspicuous because,
Yes.
oh, I'm not used to like just having something little on. But if you have something like a gold, a brown, a cream, a muted color, it can kind of blend with your skin tone. And then you just see your whole body shape. If you have something a little bit brighter than what you go for, you just see that area of the swimsuit.
Yeah.
And so if you've got like a nice shaped back and a crossover strap, that's what people see. They don't see, oh, is there a bulge there? Is there some cellulite there? Have they got an area? They've got a rash on their skin? Are they not used to?
Yeah,
Nobody sees that because they just go, oh, that's a nice swimsuit.
yeah.
So you just, or they're not even thinking anything. They're concerned with themselves.
Exactly.
Going,
I was just
do
going
I
to
look
say that.
okay?
Yeah, we all go to the beach thinking that everybody's looking at us, but actually everybody else is wrapped up in their own insecurities. And what I love is whenever I see a woman at the beach that is wearing some bright swimsuit and she is walking to the sea boldly and confidently, that just gives me such a lift because I think, look at her, she's having such an amazing time, she's just getting on with life, she's enjoying it. They're the kind of women that make that positive change on the beach. So let's encourage other women to be exactly the same and walk head held high with brightly coloured bikinis and swimsuits on.
Yeah, we can, you can go for, you can go for navy or black if that's what you feel more comfortable in, but it's still a visible color
Yeah,
rather than a sort of cream or a sort of flesh color. And metallics as well. Metallics can make you look nude because the sun shines off of them.
yeah,
But what is good with metallics is little bits of accessory. So if you've got like this has got a bit of silver on it here. I've got this one. I've got too many pinks now. This one here, you've got the just when you just get little sort of things like that.
yeah,
So, and I always, and this is just again goes back to personal taste. I always wear like a sort of diamante necklace which shines, which I just buy from the charity shop. It's dress jewelry.
yeah,
And so if it comes off in the sea or I lose it, it doesn't matter. It's something that's in the charity shop that somebody doesn't want anyway. And so, I get a lot of sort of dress jewelry from charity shops that I have that go with my swimwear. So I can then just put a cover up and then just go and sit in a cafe or a bar or something. I feel a bit more dressed and I've got something where the focus isn't going on me.
yeah,
What I'm wearing, it's like, oh, people can see they're looking at my bling instead of me,
yeah.
my clothes. And it is much more noticeable when you see somebody who has tried to cover up, has just gone for something that they haven't thought about what is their style and taste, but try to look invisible. That is when you get noticed more.
These are such great tips, and I love the idea of not just thinking about, okay, what am I going to swimming in the sea or swim in a swimming pool in? How am I going to make this into an outfit
Mm.
that I feel
Yes.
confident in? That's what I really love about all these tips that you've given us. How can I, instead of just focusing literally on the swimsuit, but it's what I can work with that. And the idea that we've all got summer dresses in our wardrobe that could be repurposed at the beach instead of thinking we've got to get something that says beachwear.
Yeah, yeah. And this is another accessory. This is a swim turban. And it's just got a little bit of a sort of elastic there so that it stays waterproof. Which I much prefer because I've got a bit more fabric again, because I want to keep my hair like this. I don't want to sort of come out of the water with wet hair stuck to my head. It's, I think, my hair is then another distraction, not to look at my body, do my hair, put a necklace on, doesn't matter, just mean it's just all those little tips all added together. It's the whole sort of outfit thing. So I wear a swim turban because it's a bit looser, I can get my hair in it, and then and a color that matches whatever swimsuit that you're wearing. You just go for it and you're fine. And it, it's how everybody wants to feel. Then the person who sort of thinks, "Oh, I wish I'd tried a bit harder because I now look really drab. I look like that. I'm just don't want to be here." And you don't want to be anywhere that you don't want to be.
No,
So you don't want to give that impression because what you've got this, your chance, your second skin.
exactly.
If you don't like your body in a swimsuit, choose a swimsuit that distracts from your body.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Such great tips, Sarah. Thank you so much. Where do you shop for swimwear? What kind of brands would you recommend?
So I've got a lot of fig leaves and the curve range for fig leaf because as
Yeah,
soon as you sort of go for even if you don't class yourself as a curvy girl, if you go for the curve ranges, they're structured like underwear.
yes, yeah,
And that's and then and all buy all my swimwear in the winter. And I do have a mix, lots of these higher end brands as well. They don't sell bikinis as sets. They sell the top and the bottom separately. So, you can then sort of match up and they'll do more than one style of bottom and top. So it's quite nice to have like a structured with straps. So you know that you feel secure, and then one that might just be a bandeau, which is I can't wear my bandeau ones all day because they come with that sort of sticky elastic and I do
Yes.
then get a rash from it and
Yeah.
I do feel that and then they sort of come with the straps always seem to be quite thin that come with them, so then I get like an aching
Yeah.
shoulder.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
they're purely for when I think, well, I need to get rid of some tan line. I just vary it so that I don't get tan lines.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I use those for. But I also, some of them I use, I've got some strappy sundresses and I don't like to go braless.
Mm.
Um, Even if I've got a secure dress, for me, I'm so used to wearing a bra and I feel I can't get it out of my head that people think, oh, she's not wearing underwear. They're probably not. It's one
Yeah.
of the things in my head. So I'll
Yeah.
always wear a bra. And so I've got quite a few bikini tops in different colors. So if you see a bikini strap with a sundress, it just looks part of
Yes.
the outfit.
Yeah. That's a great.
And this one, I've got a low cut dress, and it just works. When this is on, it looks like it goes like that, and it looks like a white and navy
Yeah.
V. It's the same color as the dress, and it just fills that bit in there. And then because it's bandeau, and actually because the dress is quite structured, I can then wear this longer because
Yeah.
the dress and the straps is holding me in. So I do, and again with this one as well. I wear this one quite a lot because that just looks like a detail, and it just won't because it won't go under a strap. It always just sits parallel with it, so it just makes a thicker strap for a sundress, and it doesn't look like underwear showing. So again, you've got more uses for investing in swim and beachwear that you can wear with sundresses when you know you're not even going to go for a swim, or you're not even going to
Yes.
take off to expose that. You'll be more confident with beachwear that you wear over the top, which you intend to stay on, and you
Yes.
just use your swimwear as your underwear. And of course, because of the nature of the fabric that's supposed to get wet, it dries quickly. Um, you can use it as your underwear and just rinse out when you have a shower every night, just take it in the shower with you. You don't even have to go separately and wash it.
Yes.
And so you can just have two really good pieces of swimwear that you can wear all week on holiday and just alternate days and just wash it, each night when you're in the shower. You don't even have to take you know, laundry liquid. You can just wash it in what you wash yourself with in the shower. And I just keep it the bottom down and I stamp on it a bit to make sure it's rinsed out, then and then it will give you also, what's good is having a cold shower after you've washed, so you can rinse out your swimwear and do something good for your body as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So many great tips there, and I really hope that does help a lot of the women because when I did a survey last year, Sarah, I interviewed 200 women over the age of 40, and I asked them to score themselves out of 10 on how body confident they felt, and
Mm,
68% scored 5 and
mm,
below.
yeah,
And out of that, 5% said they felt so low about their bodies that it actually stopped them from taking part in activities like going to the beach and
yeah.
swimming. So it really does, has such a big impact on their mental well-being. So
Mm,
conversations like this hopefully will remind women that they can rock the beach this summer, and other women will be on there cheering them away secretly.
yeah.
If they're not vocally saying it, they'll be saying, "Wow, she looks fantastic." So
And
thank
it
you
does,
so
and the
much.
more of us that do that, the people that may be on the beach, not swimming, and being uncomfortable in clothes which they don't want to be wearing on the beach, but they haven't got the confidence. Like, the more they see people, they begin to feel, well, I'm actually out of place, not dressing for the beach.
Yeah.
And you just kind of, I mean, I remember that quite a long time ago because I was much bigger as a teenager and in my 20s than what I am now. And back then, well, my friends were a lot smaller. I would deliberately walk up and down the beach looking for someone that I thought looked bigger than me and park myself next to them. I
Mm.
deliberately remember doing that
Yeah.
every time I went to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. There'll be lots of women that can relate to that, I'm sure. Thank you. So how can people find out? How can people come and find you, Sarah, and the work that you're doing? Because you've got some great advice today.
Yeah, they can follow me on all my socials, which is myvos, which is MYVOS. It's an acronym of My Very Own Stylist, and that's my website www.myvos.co.uk. And there's lots of tips and lots of all my sewing tips are to do with altering and making clothes, and so it's all to do with making you feel confident of what you wear. But there is just something I also want to ask you, Rachel. I have been doing my research, and you had a swimsuit which was vintage, which used to be your mum's. Do you still
Yes,
have
yes,
it?
yeah, no, it's from the 1970s, so I think it's from 77, 78, and I still wear it. The shape has kind of slightly, it has lost a bit of its shape, but it fits me. So my mum and I were obviously very similar body shapes, and it's just a classic. It's black, but it has got a bit of gold detail on it.
So
Um,
yes, I
and
want to. I couldn't
yeah,
quite see what it was. So I was looking. So it's got wide straps, a
got
V,
wide straps,
it's
it's
got like
got
a belt,
V,
or a mock
it's got,
belt at
it's
the
kind
front.
of ruched, and then it's got a square gold
Yeah,
thing in the middle. Yes, yes.
and
So,
that.
and I absolutely love wearing it, and the fact that she's still got it is, and I can't, unfortunately, we can't find any photographs of her wearing it. So that would have been so lovely.
But I just thought that, and that was a really good point. If you've got a bit of bling where the ruching all goes to the bling, that is the point where if someone does a glance, that's what they'll
Yeah,
see. It's a bit of bling's a really nice distraction and a real feminine touch. But if you've got a sporty classic personal taste, then stay with that. If you
yeah.
do like to have your sort of features, and I also. Um, you spent quite a lot of money on a beach outfit and cover up. I think it was a birthday gift for
It
you.
was a
Was
birthday gift.
that
Luckily,
worth?
I didn't, but Mark did. Was it last? I think it was last year actually. Mark did take went to Rigby and Pella and bought. I'd modelled for them that day, and I'd worn this gorgeous bikini with a kaftan top. And he kindly went and bought it for me, which was beautiful, and it is lovely. It's something that and again, it's kind of quite boxy bikini shorts, which I don't normally wear, but it's got that drawstring at the side, so I can make
Mm,
it higher.
yeah,
And so that works for me. So yeah, and again the structure, the structure is amazing in it. It's
yeah.
just yes, it feels so good wearing it.
Yeah. I mean, the drawstring at the side, I think, is
Game
genius
changer,
because
isn't it?
you can draw it up to make the leg higher, or you can draw it down to make it a
Yeah,
lower rise. You can have it fully up, or you can just there's so many options to suit how
yes,
people feel comfortable
yeah,
in. So I think that's so the Rigby Impeller, the John Lewis has lots of brands which are good. So Fig Leaves is where I've got lots of things for.
yeah,
Fantasy as well. And also somewhere which Anne Summers, have a look at
yeah.
their swimwear because they do a real range of sizes and the body shape. So the cut is a little bit can be a bit smaller. So they do go for quite low and a bit high cut and
Bit sexier.
not so much bum coverage,
Yeah.
but it still looks really good. So it is worth a little a try on.
I'll put all those in the notes after this conversation. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so glad that we finally got around to having this conversation. I am going to ask you one question because whenever I interview anybody, I always ask the same question at the end. So, what does free to be mean to you?
Just having the confidence to go with what you like and what you choose, not expectations from others.
Brilliant. Thank you so, so much, Sarah. And I'll put the details of where people can contact you and keep inspiring us all because you do amazing work for women.
Oh, thank you. And keep swimming and going to the beach, everybody.
Yes, please do enjoy it and get those sales now. Thank you.